We always have gold. It's deep. Okay?
I'm gonna keep it a Buckington. I'm gonna keep it a Thou Wow Nino with these anime live action adaptations. They always try to, at some point, say that the creator is involved. It's my understanding that Oda is 100% bought in, not like Shinjiro Watanabe was allegedly.
For the Avatar creators.
Right. So it's not like some Fugazi hands-on thing, right? Where it's like we're just saying he's involved. He's actually involved. But here's the thing, right? There is a huge difference between producing a manga, producing an anime, and producing a live action film. And as much as I love what Oda is doing with One Piece, and as much as I trust him with an anime and a manga, I think live action, they don't have him doing much. They just have him kind of being like the mascot, the Mickey Mouse of the whole thing. Like, just kind of like how James Gunn did with The Flash, right? This is going to be the best film ever. And it's like, no, you walked into a dumpster fire, but whoever signs your check said you need to get out there and you need to say these things.
But we're not looking for a masterpiece. All we really want to avoid is a Death Note situation. A Death Note that isn't Death Note, that bears little to no resemblance to the original.
I'll take watchable. You know, I can live with that. You know, like I finish it and I go, okay, I don't need to rip my eyes out of my head, so we're good. That's all I want.
And you know what? I think we might get there. But the thing that makes me really skeptical about this is everybody's default is it looks good. It looks good. So did Cowboy Bebop.
Facts.
Death Note, Ryuk and Death Note look. That's what
Ryuk
sold a lot
looked
of
amazing.
people.
That is the peak of the live action Death Note. I don't know how they captured Ryuk so well and everything else.
It was so. I am praying for you guys because I know in my heart of hearts that even though I'm kind of like in the mech cockpit here, you guys are definitely. What's the name of the ship? The Sunny Digital? Is that
Thousand Sunny? The Golden Mary? We're out at sea.
There you go. You guys are crew members. So I'm praying for you. I hope this thing turns out great. I don't want to see anything bad happen. I would love nothing more than to tune into the Black Ramen podcast and the Patreon and just hear you guys sing it praises because of how good it is.
Oh, no, I jump ship. Ship. This shit's sinking without me. They always say that the ship will sink with its captain. Oh, nah. But every now and then I see a trailer. I'm like, oh, this is fire. I saw Buggy the Clown. Looks amazing. Luffy and the way he interacts with everybody else, this is off script. Just how they interact with everybody else when they do a promo is hilarious to me. He's really hype. And Zoro really like look at him like, calm the fuck down, nigga. The way they interact is just hilarious to me. I would pay just to see them just hang out. Like it's funny. Even Usopp is just chilling. He's like, listen, I just need to sit near the exit. So if shit pop off, I can get the fuck up out of here. I like that. But at the end of the day, too, is like you're telling me you wanna it takes a lot for you to transform an anime and a manga and make it transition well into the big screen. But at the end of the day, Oda has my money. Oda can't do no wrong. All day. I do love One Piece. And like I said, I've always said this before, One Piece, I loved anime, but One Piece is what made me appreciate storytelling in anime. So I'm gonna support. I hope the writers were paid well. And speaking of writers, ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick little snippet there that we talked about live action with One Piece because, you know, D-Town, we love having you. But hold on. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're watching us right now, you have tuned into the Black Ramen Podcast. I, myself, Chatty Patty, a.k.a. Mistress Liberation, a.k.a. 5 Gear Woman G. What? And I have with me.
Hello. This is Sleepy Bree, as always, the one who's truly banking her faith in Oda and hoping he pulls through for this last version.
She lying.
What's up, everybody? This is Derby, aka Sexual Chocolate. Also hoping for it to be good. Little cause of concern because, you know, Game of Thrones also had a very few small episode count for what should be much larger, but we'll see.
That's not true.
We also have with us,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yeah, you already know what time it is when your boys show up. It's your boy D-Town, aka Baka Flocka Flame, aka My Negro Black and Flaming Ya, aka Out of Town, thugging with my rounds, Clefable Pink, Binnacle Brown. Hey!
Cypher don't get gas. It's only in New York, baby. Flex.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
No, you did not do that.
Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Gotta love
Time
it.
out.
What?
Patty, breathe. We've got topics to get to.
I'm sorry. He just put out the New York in me. You don't understand. High 97 has been a big part of my childhood. Damn, son. Okay. All right. Woo. All right. How y'all doing?
Oh man, I'm doing phenomenal, man. I'm doing phenomenal. It's always good to see you guys and have these. I'm gonna call it a high-level conversation with you guys, most definitely. But before we get started, I want to say congratulations again to you guys for packing out the room at DreamCon. Y'all had buff white dudes turning people away at the door.
That's how you know you made it.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this. I really enjoyed the previous episode. If you guys haven't heard it and you're listening, go back and listen. I think you guys were incredibly kind to the young woman who had the issue with DreamCon.
Oh yeah.
I think no problem, man. The information that you guys provided was very insightful, and I just love the fact that as Black people, you guys led with a gentle hand, and you didn't scold her. It was just like, hey, this is what to expect. This was your first experience.
Are you managing us? Like, really?
Thank you, but we've all been new fans
more
before.
of that.
We've had things that we regret saying out loud in the past. Because, when you're new to a fandom, when you're new to a group, it's nice if people just let you in gently and accept your goofs. We all got to learn here because that's all we can do.
Yeah.
We all made that mistake of standing on the line and going, "This is bullshit."
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Go around and like, oh no, it's actually just a huge industry issue.
Yeah. But you take the best part of being in a con is just being around people that like your shit. Like you can say a reference, "Gomu gomu no," and then everybody like "Gomu gomu no." Like it felt so good. And us being from New York, the fact that you can say "you're" and everybody responds like it's a choir, amen. Amen. Like it just felt good just to be around the vibes. Even though my main objective was just to try to get as much merch and but the thing is that, if you don't feel loved the moment you come inside, especially a con that was dedicated to people that look like us, I feel it was dedicated to people that look like us. I do.
You gotta stop saying that. Like,
no, I do.
In their own words, that's not.
I mean, he don't know what he's talking about. Listen, he's just a face. He's just a face. He know what he meant. But I just feel like if you didn't feel that sense of love walking in with all these people, I don't know. Maybe going to a con is not for you. I don't know. But
not all fans like cons.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, we're 9 times out of 10. If you're, we do battle being introverts, So, being outside may not be for you. Hey, listen, virtual con is always a thing. It's always a thing,
There are a few, so yeah, check those out.
Yeah.
Shout out to FujoCon, my favorite virtual con.
There it is. And if you can't find a virtual con near you, we highly recommend that you go to our Black Ramen YouTube channel where you can see what we did and what we regret. I'm working very diligently, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that I could put out as much DreamCon content as possible. I'm telling you right now, this editing shit with 3 cameras is not for the weak of heart. I am like really just like every time I make a big breakthrough, something breaks. I'm like, Nick, like I hate editing. All you editors, all of y'all, I feel your pain. My eyes hurt. Like, I gotta turn the lights off. Like, like, and then just have the computer screen mad low, dim low. This is a lot of shit. But yeah. Yeah, follow us. Have a good time. Have a good time. So it was very necessary for us to have D-Town here. He's a long, long family friend. When I tell you he was one of the very few people that actually believed in us and came on our show and let us talk shit without no judgment. I'm pretty sure when he gets off, he talks to his wife like, yo, these motherfuckers in New York. Ooh, baby. I'm pretty sure. But for now, you know, I like to feel that he likes us. But yeah, it felt only right to have D-Town a part of this conversation, because this conversation, I know a lot of you guys is like, damn, we haven't heard y'all talk about the strike. Yeah. Every single one of us, we've contemplated on talking about the writer's strike, but we needed more info. We wanted to address it in a way where you guys know our full perspective. But we like I said before, we wanted to make sure we got all the details, which the best way possible that we can support the strike in a, you know, while having this discussion and keep things rolling, because we understand what the strike is now. We understand how important it is, and now here's a episode where you can actually tune in and see what we all think about of the strike. Mm-hmm. So now, moving forward, I'm looking at the website right now. Now I'm looking at an article right now, and it's in depth about what the strike really is about, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, we all know when you hear strike, it means give me more money because rent due, and y'all still not paying me my shit. So I know lately we saw a couple of actors come on TikTok showing their residuals, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And with the residuals that we're seeing, it looks like it was, let's be fair, these companies are paying more money for the stamp than they are for the check. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 3 cents.
And they're not even delivering the checks on time.
No, not even. I'm late. You late with 3 cents? I don't understand. It baffles me. So the real thing about this, one of the real things that are affecting writers right now is residuals, and basically having the streaming services not paying the writers what really is owed to them. Mm-hmm. Right? Me personally, going into this, I thought it was an AI thing. I was like, oh, AI stealing jobs.
It is. You're not wrong. They have a few core things that they're after. So I read through on the WGA's website. Mm-hmm. Anyone can go see what they're looking for, or what the WGA is asking for. So if you don't know, WGA is the Writers Guild of America. Mm-hmm. So that just confirms this writing strike is US based. And it's primarily for guild members, although writers who want to be part of the guild, because most writers do aspire to be part of the guild, you need credentials. So even if you're not in yet, you want to get in. So crossing the strike lines can blacklist you later.
Yeah.
So the core things they're asking for is 1, streaming minimums. Back in the old days of television and networks, every time an episode airs, they'd get a little bit of cents here and there. Now with things streaming, it's on a streaming platform, it's there, it's set. They get their initial payment and then nothing else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they lose that idea of reruns, no longer count because there's no such thing as reruns on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Mm-hmm. They also wanted that AI regulations. Mm-hmm. So right now you can get paid based on different rates. On one case, if you're writing original content, you get a higher amount. If you're adapting a other piece of intellectual property, an IP, so that's things like books to movies, games to movies, spin-off series, you get paid a little bit less because technically there's already source material. But what these companies have started doing is they bring on an AI to generate source material so that they can tell the writers, we don't have to pay you as much. You're not writing originally. Mm-hmm. You're based off the source material.
Correct.
Writers are cutting wise to that and saying, we don't like that. No.
Right.
What?
And that is the difference between writing, like you said, Bree, you get paid more. If they have the AI do it and bring you in, they have you do a rewrite, which you get paid less.
Yep.
And then there's a third step there, which is called a polish, which you get paid even less. So it's like, you know, the example could be, hey, Chat GPT, write a sitcom about 3 very successful Black podcasters trying to make it in New York. So now they have this script that Chat GPT has wrote, and they're just going to say, hey, D-Town, can you come in as a writer and polish this for us? So it creates that type of problem. That's essentially what they're trying to circumvent. And Bree, you're making really good points. Go ahead, keep going. Keep going.
And then the last kind of big thing, again, they have a bunch of points. You can see all of their regulations, rules, and what they're requesting on the WGA website. But what they want, and I totally agree with this, is success-based payments. So in general, you're paid for a service that then you cut it off. We've talked about this on the podcast before for things like even the Demon Slayer movie, how much the original mangaka of Demon Slayer got paid despite the massive success of the movie. Instead, writers are starting to think, hey, if you make millions and millions or billions of dollars, I want to get paid based off of some of that success. I don't need a massive chunk, but I want a percentage. If you make over this amount, give me some back because I'm the one who put in the work into it. So to summarize that again, some of the main things, minimums for every episode that gets streamed instead of one shots, success-based payments, limiting AI, and they also have a few other things they're looking for based off of like credit, industry stuff. Preserving the writer's room is also a huge one.
Yeah, and if I can, I kind of want to pick up right where you left off.
Absolutely. I wanted to open that one up for you because I feel like you might have some good thoughts about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I want people to understand about why the writer strike is happening is essentially payment has a lot to do with it. And typically, it's not like the music industry right now where it's like you get paid per stream. There are very complex equations that go into how a writer and how an actor is paid out on streaming services. It has nothing to do with viewership, at least with Disney Plus. To the best of my knowledge, and this information comes from Jen D'Angelo, who is a writer on the front lines with the writer strike. She was a writer on Hocus Pocus 2. And the experience that she spoke to was that they potentially base it on number of subscribers. This could be done at the time, but it's a very complex equation. Now, as a writer or an actor, if you get one of those checks from like these streaming platforms, you have to understand these streaming platforms are not very transparent with who's watching, how much is being watched, how long they're watching. So when they send you this check, it essentially just comes out of nowhere, out of the ether. So if you're a member of the guild, you can go back and say, hey, can you audit this for me? This doesn't look right. 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back and tell you that this number looks correct. And that's largely based on what the streaming platforms are reporting to them. So what I want to transition into next would be the writers' rooms. And before I go into that, does anybody have anything that they want to add on here, or can I just keep going? Because I don't want to railroad you guys on your own pod.
No, come on. Listen. Hold on. D. Welcome home. Welcome home. It's okay. It's great. I'm loving it.
All right, perfect. So let's take a moment. Let's transition right here. We're going to take a turn because we've established essentially how they get paid, what some of the strike is about. Let's talk a little bit about writers' rooms. You have to understand that first and foremost, the way that sitcoms were produced in the past was you spend your time doing the script for free. You go into Hollywood and you try to pitch it to a studio to pick up. They shoot a pilot. They test the pilot against an audience after they filmed it and stuff like that. And then after all of that, they determine if they're going to pick it up. And you're paid pretty much once they say you're going to shoot the pilot. Even if they don't pick it up, they're going to pay you for the work that you've done, right? What they're trying to do now, what these streaming platforms are trying to do is they're trying to cut cost and get a ton of free work out of writers. So what they're attempting to do is, hey, the process is the same. You spend your time working on your life's work. You go into Hollywood, you pitch it to these studios. What they do at that point is they say, wow, this is really good. This is a really good looking pilot. I tell you what, hey, go back, write us 10 more episodes of this because we want to see how it looks. Oh, and by the way, what we're going to do is we're going to give you 3 weeks to write this and 5 writers. So what they're going to do is they're going to pay you essentially for your time, but at a fraction of the cost. And this is where the disparity comes into play. They're going to give you a budget to hire maybe 3 to 5 writers, right? Something along those lines. But a lot of these writing rooms in the past have been upward bounds of 10 to 12 people. So not only are you writing the entire series for them, but you're doing the work of 2 or 3 people, and it's not guaranteed this is going to get picked up. So you do all of this writing. They say, wow, this looks good. We're going to get back to you. And a lot of times it doesn't go into production. And because you've done this for a studio, you can't take this to the next studio and continue to write this and pitch this series. So I believe the term is mini writer's room is what they're calling them. It's an effort by the streaming platforms to cut cost, to maximize profitability. And I'll go into that in a moment, but Bree, is that on par with some of the stuff that you guys have researched?
Yes, absolutely. I actually have their requirements up now, just to give people an idea of what they're asking for. Like you said, writer's room used to be 10, 12 plus people. So if you think of your favorite series that might have been ongoing, that's a lot, dozens, if not hundreds of episodes. And you need to bring in more manpower so that it stays fresh and creative. So what they were asking for is in a pre-greenlit room before the show is like officially guaranteed to air, a minimum of 6 writers. And then once the show is going, you want 1 writer per episode. And then when you get additional episodes, say 10, 20, so 1 additional writer for every 2, but a max of 12. So again, the math is kind of complicated. They even like give an example on their demands website to show like how this kind of thing would work out, but top up to 12 writers. They're not asking for anything crazy. And as of at least when this was updated, their proposal was rejected, and there has been no counter offers given.
Did you see?
Rejected, no counter offers. It's really kind of heartbreaking.
Non-starter.
If you look at how many of their requests rejected, no counter offer made. They refused to make a counter offer, refused to make a counter offer. Here's a counter offer, but it's almost insulting.
There is a section on their demands that I believe says basic dignity and respect. And right under it, it says denied. I bullshit you not. It's like some stuff in between there, right? I mean, but if we read between the lines, they are denied basic respect and dignity. Look it up.
Yeah, so the minimal staff, can I get 10 weeks of work? No, we can't even offer you what we'd offer a contractor. Minimum assistance, so I'm not doing the job of like 15 people, rejected. Minimum pays, rejected.
Seeing the headlines with some of the quotes coming out of some of these CEOs and like, you know, rich folk in Hollywood just saying like, yeah, we're just going to wait till they lose their houses and homes and then they'll talk to us. It's like,
what? While you're sitting in a yacht, you're making
just like,
it's so crazy.
You know, eventually somebody will take the job. Eventually they will be hungry enough.
That's crazy. And you're making these statements while you're sitting in your fucking yacht. Like it's just crazy to me. It's just ridiculous. But
can I pose a question?
Yes.
Go for it.
What do you guys think is going to happen to these shows? And we're starting to see it now. But what do you think is going to happen to these shows if they're only allowing 2 or 3 writers to write 10 1-hour episodes? How do you think that's going to impact the quality of the show?
Oh, it's going to suck. Yeah, it's going to suck. We're going to have series that's like, we're going to have 55 different Game of Thrones endings.
And that's a point. That's a point. Here's why it's important to know that. Because these streaming platforms do not care if the show is good or not.
Quantity over quality. As long as they can announce, 5 new series coming next week, 13 more episodes coming now, it'll keep people around to at least try it.
Indeed.
There's not a huge impulse to get high quality shows when you can make do with low quality repeated ones. So that's why we get a lot of trash TV. I adore trash TV, but you're seeing a lot of Love Islands, The Ultimatums, Too Hot to Handle,
Love and Hip Hop.
Related.
Well, let's dive. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bree.
Oh no, that's all I was saying. Like, you already see quality dropping in a lot of these streaming platforms because there's a lot of garbage on them that you just watch because you have free time. There's a few great ones, especially if they're experimental, but with this strike, with the people who really care about producing quality content, refusing to work under inhumane conditions.
Well, let's take a step. You're absolutely right. And I want to piggyback on that because what you pointed out is we're starting to see a lot of reality TV. And I want to take you back to 2007 because now I want to get and listen, if I'm skipping over some other key points, let me know because I'm about to get into the head assery of all of this shit, like head canon and what I think is going to happen and what all this means.
Wait, you're talking about 2007. Wasn't that their last strike?
That
was the last strike.
That was the last writer strike. And the one before that was in 1984. The one in 84 was essentially over VHS, right? The one in 80, it was essentially, you guys are moving into this new medium. You guys are selling videos. How are we supposed to get paid? We don't have this worked out. That's why they struck.
It's an issue every time we get a new piece of technology. So I think the AI is what's really, really streaming. And then the AI was the final straw on the camel's back.
Yes, because in 2007, it was about DVD releases and also the internet. Yeah. So now we're seeing that essentially streaming has come about. They don't have a plan for it. And that's why we're here today. But again, let me take you back to 2007, what it is you're going to see and why these streaming platforms can pretty much hold out for as long as they want to. They have the formula. This happened less than 20 years ago. What you do in 2007, what did we see a ramp up of? We seen a ramp up of reality TV. You got your Rock of Loves, your House of Loves, a shot of
Flavor Love,
yep.
Jersey Shore.
I Love New York. I Love Money.
Exactly.
Oh yes, that's my shit. That's my shit.
So they know how to essentially survive. We're going to do reality TV because it's super cheap and easy to make. We're just going to give these guys $1,500 an episode for 10 episodes. And then that's it. That's all we really need. But what you're also going to see, they're going to place a focus on sports related content because sports never go away. They're going to double down on their podcasting division, like rehashing podcasting. They're going to start to bring in shows from overseas. More shit like Squid Game is going to start to pop up all over these platforms.
Oh, no, they're not going to do that anymore because it looks like there's a strike going over there too. It looks like Netflix is not paying they're not paying their Korean actors, and they have a big. That shit is crazy.
And that's okay because there's like 175 different other countries in the world producing. I
started to notice that they start bringing in like Thai stuff.
A lot of Thai dramas are really
like Thai and Chinese stuff are starting to kick in.
More Spanish language stuff.
They fire.
Especially because they've really done great with their simultaneous dubs coming out. Because the scary thing about this, what you're mentioning, D-Town, is that it'll work. It'll work so well. I am addicted to this trash. It is my cocaine. I snort it up every time I get a new season of garbage. It's right. I fully recognize these shows are terrible and stupid, and I love it. Give me another season of random baking competitions. Another season of random.
They've gotten clever with the baking.
Is it cake too? Is it lava or no? Escape the lava. The floor is lava.
You know,
cheap as hell to make. Easily addictive to keep my subscription money. It will work. And that's
let me tell you something. I was wondering why she came into DreamCon with that pinky nail mad long. All right, Bree.
From the snuff box.
That is. Queer love.
Don't.
Oh my God. Are you guys watching Hoochie Daddies on Tubi?
Oh my God, not Hoochie Daddies.
What is that?
I just hooked up myself.
I'm gonna keep it short, sweet, and hard to beat. Hoochie Daddies is a show about lesbians competing. It's a bunch of studs competing for a Hoochie Daddies chain and a trip.
It's hilarious. I love it. It's so dramatic too. But Tubi, when I tell you Tubi be killing it, Tubi be killing it when they. But it's so low budget, but it's hilarious.
But let me ask you guys. Let me make this statement because again, we're talking about how these guys can afford to hold out for so long.
Completely sick.
Let me pose a hypothetical, right? What you gonna do when they drop Family Matters on Netflix? What you gonna do when they drop Martin on Netflix? You know what? Like these guys have access. Yeah, well, but case in point, they have these streaming services have such a vast access to previous works and previous catalogs that they can essentially coast the next couple of years just off of nostalgia alone.
Because nostalgia is at an all-time high right now. When they dropped Powerpuff Girls onto Netflix, done. So now it's super current. People love watching this old 2000 stuff coming back. It'll pop up on what's it called? TikTok immediately. X as it's now. That's so stupid. I won't. It's Twitter. Old Twitter. Old Twitter will like go ham for it because nostalgia is in. All they have to do is get a one-time payment of licensing rights to an old show. And those people who are out of it will happily sell.
Exactly. Can I take a step back in this conversation very briefly? Because I think that this is important for us not to skip over. We talked about the simuldubs that are occurring, right? Those have not stopped. There's a new dubbed episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. There's like 4 or 5 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen dubbed since the writer strike and the actor strike has occurred. And I want people to revisit the episode that we had here on the Black Robin podcast on October 3rd of 2022.
Wait, hold on, D. This is crazy.
No, because see, I'm doing 2 things here. I'm trying to make a point, but also I'm trying to get people to go. No. I'm trying to get people to go back and just go through you guys' catalog to run those numbers up. But still,
we appreciate that.
Still, dubbed voice actors are contracted. They're not unionized. So they're not participating. Many of them aren't participating in the strike because it doesn't impact how they make their money. We had a huge conversation about how Crunchyroll just refused to unionize. And the end result was the voice actor, I believe his name was Kyle from Mob Psycho 100, did not come back for season 3 because he had unionized. And they were like, nah, fuck that. Get the fuck out of here, man. So I know we have anime fans that are listening like, how does this impact? It's like, well, you're still going to get your dubs. And that's a part of why these streaming platforms can hold out for so long.
And this is why we always say sub is best. Like, come on, stop.
But it's still importing this content from overseas because when in need, we'll just go to a country that's not striking. And I feel like even though, like I said, WGA, Writers Guild of America, is very America-centric, other countries around the world are watching. Other writers around the world are watching and thinking, what's going to happen to them? Because anyone who dreams either working in Hollywood or working in their own like film, television, entertainment capitals are now thinking about their own futures and wondering, what will I do? I can maybe come over here and cut the lines of the strike. I could maybe buckle down, stand in solidarity. What will happen in my own country to our writers? So the entire status of writers is once again at question globally across all works. Because if this writer strike fails, there's going to be a massive echo effect. Because now around the world, they'll also see, oh, all we have to do is wait these suckers out. They need to eat eventually. They need roofs over their head and they won't be able to afford it.
I mean, yes, in the short term, I think they would win that. But what I think would end up happening is the job of being a writer would start to look like the job of being like wait staff. Like, not to shit on wait staff, but their contracts are terrible. Like $2 an hour, like you work on tips and that your boss can technically take from you. This is what the writer's job is going to start to look like. Like they're coming out saying like, yo, we can't even like make the minimum per year to get health insurance. And it's like, why would I ever? Like, unless I'm absolutely starving, I'm not taking that job. Like, especially not long term. Like, so the quality of writers is going to get worse and worse because no one's going to make that a lifetime profession. It's just going to be kind of like another gig economy type thing. You just jump on, do a few shows, and then never look at it again.
So let me, and I just want to piggyback on that because again, not shitting on wait staff.
No,
right?
not at all. It was just I wish they would strike. Get better contracts for that.
I mean, but historically, if you look at the data and how the industry works, they typically historically underpaid for the amount of hard work that they're doing. For you to be a writer, okay, let me do this. Let's walk this down. All right, where are all the writing jobs at?
LA.
Ooh, how much?
Sorry. As a resident Californian here, gotta be a little proud. I was like,
okay, cool. So you can hang with me on this one then. Average writer salary anywhere between $42,000 to $79,000 per year,
if they can get on a project, because it's also incredibly insecure. Almost everything in the Hollywood entertainment industry, vastly insecure. You have to hop on project to project. And it's incredibly nepotism based. You got to know someone to get project to project. So it's hard to break in. It's hard to build yourself. And then even once you're built, you got to be lucky, or else you can go 4, 5, 6 months at a time without finding something new.
Absolutely. The rent in LA on average.
Sorry. I can't help but choke.
So no, but I mean, now you see what we're talking about here. I think I'm taking a look at something. It says on average it's $4,000 a month in some instances.
Yeah,
that's your entire check. If you were making $79,000, that's probably going to be like a plurality of your check. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but there's not really much for you to do anything else other than pay rent off of that. So if you're not working consistently and you're relying on residuals from these shows to get by,
short-term rentals,
but none of the right. But see, the thing is, typically with the old TV model, shows like Seinfeld, if you hit 100 episodes, you go into syndication. Now you go from being on just NBC. Now you're on NBC, TBS, TNT, MTV, all of that stuff. So you're getting that residual check. These streaming services are not producing 25 episode seasons. They're not syndicating their content. They're doing this on purpose. This is why Insecure is only 8 episodes. This is why Ozark
5
episodes.
Is only a season on Netflix is now 6 to 8 episodes. You're really lucky if you hit 10 for a series, and it's not a coincidence. It's not just the writers thought they could finish in this time. It's no. Netflix said, I'm giving you this long and nothing else. You better wrap this up, figure it out, cut it out, because that's all we're paying you for. So these kind of mini series.
Absolutely. Because again, the focus isn't on quality. The focus is on viewer retention. As long as they can keep you watching from this episode to the next episode, that's all that matters. It doesn't have to make sense. All they want to know, they're just trying to keep you there. They're just trying to keep eyes on the platform, because that's essentially what they try to report on to show their value.
You know what? Real quick, I just want to say this. The crazy shit, right? Even if you're on a project, that could be the only project you have for that year. And even if that is the project that you have for that year, say for instance, your show is successful. Shout out to Taraji B. Henson. She did say something about, even though she's not a writer, but think about the breakdown that she had to do when she was on Benjamin Button. And I think that was her first major gig, right? So she got $150,000, right? 10% of that goes to Uncle Sam. And she says $75,000, which was like 30%, went to her team. This is her agent that got her the job. And whoever helps her to maintain her image, market, make sure she gets on time for like, she had a little small ass trailer. Like she really, and people were like, oh wow, she made this much. None of that. She only was able to come back with like maybe, I don't know, like after all that. And then that, she said, went to her son's tuition. And that was it. As big as that movie was, and this is her being an actress in that movie. Think about the writers. Some writers don't even have the privilege to have more than one project for that year. And remember, rent is monthly, and it just so happens I have to eat every day. And other utilities
I don't know, you could skip
as
one
well.
or two. Come on, you're being kind of greedy.
I mean, there was a pandemic and rent was still
rice
due
a lot.
until the government finally stepped in.
Nah, I'm Haitian. I like my rice. I like my griot. I like spicy foods. I like every day. So to think about how this actually works, this is not like, okay, you got a project. Okay, fine. I'll book the next project. Sometimes you don't even have their energy to work on multiple projects. Sometimes these projects take place at the same damn time. And if you're not present, you don't get paid. And sometimes like perfect example, Game of Thrones, right? Those guys, those writers who did the last season, right? We all know they rushed that season and massacred that season. Why? Because they had to deal with Disney, right?
Yeah.
But here's what happened. They fucked up Game of Thrones so bad that Disney said, nah, we're done. They did all that, rushed the show just so they could hop on a new project because it was like, okay, cool. I'm ready for some new. And look what they did. So it's not like you can, and I respect the hustle. I get it. You're like, all right, cool. Fuck the fans. I'm trying to get this next check. You know what I mean? I need to make sure I'm getting shit in my wallet. So I understand that. But for some writers, I would have to say majority of writers, some of them don't have that that grace, that pleasure to actually that privilege to actually have more than one multiple projects going on at the same time and can be present for them and still have the same energy to produce quality content for each project that's presented to them. Sometimes it could be months to years before you even get a call for anything. There are writers, it's a dog world. For every one project, there's probably like 500 other writers that be like, I got something for this. It's all about who you know
turned
too.
out of UCLA every year. A new batch, fresh graduates, sometimes fresh ideas coming through, and they're always hungry to take any position. So it's also the issue, the higher up you get, the more you produce, doesn't necessarily guarantee the same returns. It doesn't guarantee that you will have a spot on the next project.
No.
So why would I hire you when I can hire this new young blood coming out?
For
a quarter of the price.
Right.
There's two things that I want to kind of tack on to that. I'm sorry, Derby, did you have something you wanted to say? I'm sorry.
No, go for it, man.
Okay. There's two things that I wanted to say. I wanted to say one, and I guess I'm going to tie this back into the mini writers room concept. Again, I heard Jen D'Angelo speak about this. With the mini writers room, since the show is not greenlit and they're asking you to write 10 episodes, they're paying everyone the same. So if Patty has been in this industry for 20 years, Derby has been in this industry for 30 years, Bree has been in this industry for 25 years, but they bring me on as a newbie, they're not going to pay you guys based on your experience. They're going to pay you guys based on, this is the rate that we've set. Everyone's making the same thing. And more than likely, it's going to be at the rate that I'm comfortable with because I'm a new guy.
Not if we jump you.
Right. But no. That's the finesse. That's the finesse. The finesse is we don't want to pay you what you're worth. It's such a competitive space that you need the work. You may not have had, it's been 20 or 30 years for you, but you need a hit this year. They know these people are desperate for this. So you might just take the job for the sake of keeping the lights on and keeping the food on the table. You're not happy with it. So yes, you can beat my ass, but there are going to be 5 or 6 or 7 other writers lined up ready to take your place for that price. The second thing I'll say is tying it back into, again, listening to Jen D'Angelo talk about Hocus Pocus 2 and her experience with Disney Plus. She said she questioned the check. The reason the check came back so small for Hocus Pocus 2 was because, one, it's not a theatrical release. Two, they classified it as a made-for-TV movie. With them classifying it as a made-for-TV movie, you're not going to see the type of residuals that you would see for a theatrical release.
They're smart. They wanted to keep that money.
Streaming platforms are finessing actors and writers. That's it. That's all there is to it. So I don't know if we had any more points we wanted to get into, but I want to get into the headassery of everything.
Not the headassery.
Because look, I think this is what the people come here for, I imagine. We've given them the facts. What do you guys think is going to happen?
More anime. I'm gonna tell you why. Japan is like laughing at us right now, talking about fuck y'all. We've been doing this for years. We don't pay nobody. We gonna make sure we get this content going. There's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of anime content. It's gonna be a lot of mangas being pushed out.
Japan
not just
so
anime,
sure.
but imported content.
And I love it.
So sure
I love
that
it.
they can keep mistreating their workers that Zom 100 got greenlit for multiple kind of releases, and they're like, no one's gonna do a damn thing about it.
It's true.
Yeah, we'll work on this job about overworking your employees, and you're still gonna show up to work tomorrow morning.
I wouldn't be surprised if all the writers went into a lab and was like, fuck it, we're gonna do a project where we poison everybody's fucking zombies. I'd rather be zombies than work for this fucking writer than work for this fucking studio. I wouldn't be surprised. And you know what? I watch it. If that was like, we watching it now. But I'm like, it's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's a sign of how desperate these writers are that they made the strike in the first place, where they know these companies have all the leverage in the world to say, that's okay. We don't need you. They know the companies can find resources from other seas. They know the companies can find people willing to, break the strike. And yet in the end, they decided we're at a dead end. It's die or die. So might as well die fighting. So they're going out with it. So it's a very scary time for them, but also shows a lot of determination on their part for sticking this out. I respect that. And all the writers, and not just the writers, but all the people who are standing in solidarity. Because I know the Actors Guild has been like openly standing in solidarity with the writers. So a lot of them might not be taking on new work. People who want to join, is it SAG instead of WGA? Yeah, I think it's SAG for the
Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild. A lot of influencers are standing in solidarity. I don't necessarily know how helpful that is. I mean, standing and vocally being in solidarity. But for example, I know the WGA said, hey, people, there's no need to boycott movies. Still go to the theater, still enjoy. They've openly said, if you are contracted to fulfill some duty, do it. Don't get yourself in trouble. Finish out your contracts. There's no need to strike. So for people who aren't directly WGA, it's hard to tell what we should or should not be doing in order to really show support.
And, in the previous episode I was on with you guys, I always think it's important to look to the oppressed party for them to give us guidance and direction on how they would like to be supported. What I'm seeing is pretty much in alignment with Bree. It's pretty much everything is everything, but do not scab us. You know what I mean? And that's primarily what it is. But I'm gonna get into some head assery. I'm gonna throw some hot takes out there. I'm going to explain them, but I want you guys to stick with me. Just like Drake was hiding a child, these streaming platforms are hiding their numbers.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
What? Maliciously hiding their numbers to screw over the people who contribute to the services they get profitable off of? No. Disney? Netflix?
Listen.
Max.
Not Max. Let's get into it. This is how I feel like I know they're hiding their numbers, because of some things that I read. Listen, let's start with Max. We'll use them as an example, right? What were they prior to this? HBO Max. Right before they became HBO Max, or right when they dropped, during the pandemic, movies couldn't get released. Guess what they ended up doing? Making that deal with Warner, right? It's my understanding, and don't quote me on this, but it's my understanding that they ran into some financial issues where they were to pay out Warner Brothers for like the residuals for streaming and shit like that. They could not do that, so they sold to Discovery. So this is going to be some of the iterations that you guys are going to see with these streaming platforms. They're going to change hands. They're going to move back and forth. They're going to be rebranded, things like that, because they don't have the money to pay out what they're paying. Here's taking a step back, right? Looking at traditional television. Traditional television makes its money off of advertising. Box office makes its money off of ticket sales. It's my understanding that streaming platforms are making its money off of subscribers. It's not make. If you look at Netflix as well, they're not advertising. They're not like a Hulu or a Peacock where you're getting commercials.
That's why they're supposedly doing this password sharing crackdown, because their fresh revenue comes in from adding new subscribers and maintaining old subscribers. So to constantly increase they need new people to sign up.
I think they do want to get an ad tier as well.
They're gonna have to. That's one of the things that I have listed down on my screen in front of me that's going to happen. All of these guys are going to switch to ads if they don't have ads already. Because here's why the corporations, okay, and I'm not playing devil's advocate. I want to let you guys know exactly what the fuck is going on and why this shit is so despicable. These corporations cannot take this L. If they are to take this L, they're going to have to open up their books. They're going to have to be transparent. They're going to have to show everybody what's behind the curtain. And you want to know what's behind the curtain? Fucking nothing. Yeah. It's nothing back there. Listen, what these guys are doing is they're shuffling these papers around. There's not as much money floating around in these streaming platforms as people initially thought. So it's going to make their shareholders and it's going to make people look and go, what the fuck is going on? What is this? And see, here's the thing. Everyone has a boss. So this shit can only go on for so long before people start to see that it's not profitable, where we're going to move into the next phase of this thing, right? If they win, if they have to open up their books.
And let me question you there, because what is after streaming? Because at the same time, we're saying there's nothing behind it. But do you want streaming to meet its end? I mean, it's already starting to disillusion us a little bit. All of the different platforms, content constantly being dropped, picked up by somewhere else, licensed for here, licensed for there, and the constantly increasing subscription prices. It can't go on forever. For example, how much are you willing to pay for Disney Plus? At what point is it not worth having anymore? Netflix is quickly hitting that bar as well. But what do we do after streaming? I don't really know if there's any alternative.
My man said books.
That was back 200 years.
Hey. Some good books out there I haven't read yet, you know?
You know what no one's questioning? Like, you see, Netflix was always known as the great place to work for. I heard that their employees have great insurance. They take care of everybody. And the pay is amazing. It's kind of weird for them to treat their writers and just be like, okay, you know what? All of a sudden now, they're like, fuck you, pay me. Not fuck you, give me my money. Like give me all your shit, and I'll give you a quarter.
This is a sensitive topic, and I'm going to say this just to paint a picture. I don't mean any disrespect by this. But if you look at the response to Dave Chappelle and his stand-ups and how the Netflix employees responded to that, I can promise you that does not seem like a happy place to work. It seems like people there are not happy, and they're upset, and they're frustrated. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel you.
But can I take a step back, because I want to answer Bree's question?
What's next?
What's next after streaming? And I'm just going to dive deeper into my headcanon. You said, there's going to come an inflection point. You can only charge but so much for Netflix. You can only charge but so much for Disney Plus. Here's the thing. They're going to keep raising those prices because that's how they're making their money. But what you're going to see once it has been proven that these guys are just shuffling papers around, just shuffling numbers around, just look, what they're doing is trying to look busy when their boss comes in, right?
Oh, so they're supervisors.
That's all.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, just keep that in mind. When your supervisor comes in, you want to look busy, you want to look like you're doing something, but you're not really productive, you're not really doing nothing, right? It's the same thing with these companies. So what's going to happen when they peel the curtain back and they see that there's not a lot of money in here? You're going to see the selling or consolidation of a lot of these streaming platforms. Just like how we seen with Max when it was sold to Discovery, right? Once they realize that these companies aren't as profitable, we're going to come down to just a handful of them. Because you can only lose so much. You can only hemorrhage money and lose money, but so much before they're like, we have to find another way. And I think they're going to consolidate, cut the cord, cut their losses. We're only going to have a handful of streaming platforms. We're going to have more than likely Netflix.
Who is it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Netflix, but Disney. Disney will survive.
Yes.
You know what? Let me pivot with Disney because let me talk about my boy Bob Iger.
Oh my God.
Your boy Bob Iger is the biggest tell of what's going on with streaming platforms right now. You guys are all Marvel fans. You guys have seen these shows. You guys have seen the feedback and the discussion around these shows. Who's watching She-Hulk?
I tried.
Okay. Didn't finish it?
I literally had one episode left. I just couldn't be bothered to.
Okay. Who's watching Secret Invasion?
See, the black person in me wants to say yes, but after my husband was so disappointed, I said, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I was waiting like 4 episodes and I heard terrible things. I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was nothing good. Nothing good. Sorry, Samuel L. Jackson.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because I don't think it's Samuel L. Jackson's fault. But there is something to be said when Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, who has spent so much money on these Marvel properties and these Star Wars properties, says, we're going to scale back on this because we think that it's having a negative impact on our performance. Some of the shows and the movies just aren't performing well. And for the life of me, no disrespect, but Ant-Man wasn't popping when I was a kid. How this nigga got a movie and is crushing shit. The fact that Disney made people care about Ant-Man is nothing shy of a Christmas fucking miracle. And listen, I'm sure the movies are good. Shout outs to Jake Rudd, whatever his name is. Thank you. I was close. I was close. 4 letters. But the thing is, these are billion-dollar movies, right? $1 million movies, excuse me. They're not Avatar. $1 million movies in a billion-dollar industry. Disney is also trying to figure out what to do with ESPN. I think they're trying to sell that off.
But ESPN never has any good sports.
But
anytime I'm trying to watch something, it's not on ESPN though.
Facts. This is what's going to happen, because this kind of ties back into my overarching point with what's going to happen with streaming, right? They're going to begin to place a focus on quality. Bob Iger is realizing that we've invested all this money into these shows and they're cheapening the brand. They're not performing the way we want them to perform. And it's also causing dips in performance and interest in other areas. I just lost my fucking point that fast.
I also see part of what makes them dial back is all of these streaming platforms are simultaneously realizing, oh shit, the pandemic's over. Because we saw this across all tech companies. As soon as people were staying inside, they threw money at these platforms, at these shows, because this is what people will watch. They'll hire, they'll make a bunch of new content. And now the pandemic's over. It's been officially announced, done. Yeah. People are going outside doing stuff, but they're still not really going back to movie theaters to the same numbers. But they're also not just streaming at the same numbers. So all of these streaming companies realized, oh crap, we overreached ourselves. All that money Disney threw into these Marvel series, these big budget shows, really fancy things, it's not giving the returns they thought they would because they miscalculated.
Right.
And part of their miscalculation is simply they just overcharged on things. Because a lot of these things are worth money, just not as much as they're telling me.
Listen, Megan Thee Stallion twerking in a courtroom could not save She-Hulk.
Yeah, that is well.
It should have, in no disrespect to She, I know there are fans out there, and I know people are like, oh, well, it was a good show. It was supposed to be funny. The point is this. It
flopped.
Was not, it did not perform the way they wanted it to perform. And this is aside from the criticism of the show. They're kicking out some shows that are absolute stinkers that aren't fun to watch.
Mhm.
They're kicking out some movies that are absolute stinkers that are just not fun to watch. And when you see the CEO publicly acknowledge, like, yeah, we're seeing some dips in performance, so we're going to scale back in some areas, that lets you know the money ain't there like they think it is. You know what I mean? Because if it was, we would get a Squirrel Girl fucking show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but another thing too that I want to say, like, what people don't realize, when you see all these characters being pulled from Marvel's hat that you haven't seen in a minute, you're like, damn, I didn't even remember this motherfucker. It's because it's cheaper to take these no-name characters and create a story to make them relevant. Because number one, if they don't really have a sustainable backstory, we can always rewrite it. Number two, damn, I don't have to fight for this character because nobody's picked on it and it's not on a different studio. Like, I don't have to fight Fox. I don't have to fight this. It's a random character. Boom. I'm just taking this and make them relevant into this Marvel universe, which these characters will usually just be side characters in the comic. And if they're not even lucky enough to even have their own strip, their own comic strip, like their own series. Oh, yeah. Some of them, and if they do, it's probably like 5 issues, and that's it. So I think I think it is the lack of money, and there were so many things that they could do to actually make this work, but because of the lack of respect for writers, right? Because I feel like you can't take a character that we haven't been thinking about for more than 10 years and make them fucking relevant.
I mean,
right?
as D-Town said, like they did it with Ant-Man. Like, it can be done.
Right. Like,
but we're getting fatigue as well. I think, D-Town, I really hope your idea that it'll become more of a turn back to quality will come true. Because they keep throwing money at these IPs, already established characters. And yeah, they go with the minor ones they can revamp, but they're still feeding it into the Marvel circle. I want them to finally let those go and turn to the cheap option, was to get someone new with an idea and see it through. Give someone a shot. We haven't heard of this before. We can pick it up cheap and actually judge, is this show going to be something worth watching? Instead of just going, oh, yeah, we've all heard of this title. Let's toss it on screen. Because we're all getting fatigued. All these new announcements is like, yeah, that's based off of a video game, comic, already established franchise. We don't need another Lord of the Rings spinoff.
Yeah. And I think, and you know, I try and look at it objectively, right? I understand everything isn't for us, right? But I feel that a lot of these platforms look at us as an audience in general, regardless of race, religion, politics, or whatever. They look at us as numbers. And you want to know what they think of us? They think we're fucking stupid.
But we are.
But they think we can't tell what bad TV is. And just like Derby says, and just like Patty said, just like Bree said, at some point in time, there was something that was so bad in some of these Marvel shows that we just tapped out.
That's not
like we just couldn't.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm such a big fucking Marvel fan that I will sit there and make an excuse for a bad series. I'm like, nah, they made this to open up for the next character that's in the credits. They prepped you for that. I made up so many fucking lies because at this point, like, Marvel has been a staple in my childhood. And I made excuses. So I think, yeah, we're totally stupid. I sat there and made an excuse for a whole fucking series. It's like, oh, no, they're building us up for something more. I sat there and made an excuse for Miss Marvel just so she can be in the last fucking movie for the last 5 minutes. They gave this bitch a whole 2 hours just so we could see her at Endgame for the last 5. Bitch, like, I made excuses. Yes, I have. But I feel like now, I don't know. I got a bookshelf. So it's like, wherever this goes,
I can do.
You know, that's the, you know, we read, you know, if we want we know the real value of writers. You know, we support them. Barnes and Nobles know that. I tell you, Susan knows my name. So it's like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No. I said it.
Okay. Worst case scenario in all of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Streaming companies lose. they're forced to open up their books, and actors and writers find out that they are being paid accurately based off of the models.
You think so? Yo, D.
Because
he's saying that's the worst case scenario.
Worst case.
Worst
Okay.
case.
Worst case. Okay.
Worst case, because I suspect that they don't have the money there that people think they have.
Nah, D-Town. I'm okay. I heard you. I hear you.
So one of the last things that you're gonna see, all of these streaming platforms are going to come with commercials embedded in them off the Rippington. You're gonna have to pay $30 a month to get rid of commercials.
Listen, I don't mind the commercials. It's fine. Just bring the caveman back. You remember the Geico commercial? I'm cool. Commercials used to be bomb. They used to be bomb. But here's the thing. I don't think they don't have money. They want you to think they don't have money. There's no way you could sit here and fucking diss me while you on your yacht on Twitter. You got bread.
I mean, rich people always play a weird game with money where it's just them borrowing money, and it just doesn't make sense to me, who doesn't understand that life.
Here's why I say I don't think they have money, and I'll use Netflix for this example, right? Netflix versus traditional TV. I'll keep it super simple. Traditional TV, broadcast TV, they're able to make money because they're selling advertisements. They have slots where people are paying millions upon millions to advertise. Case in point, the Super Bowl, right? We see how big commercials are at that
like
time.
$1 billion a slot?
Correct. So it's huge, right? That's how they're able, the stations and the networks are able to make money. That's how they're able to greenlight these things, et cetera, et cetera. Netflix is running off of subscriptions. $20 a month from a user.
What you mean from a user? This is not me. This is not me and your cousin. This is a million. Like, regardless of the shares, they're making bread, yo. Don't tell me they're not. Because wait, hear me out. Don't tell me they're not. Because I'm able to see notifications of all these new series that they got coming. We getting all these animes, not even animes. They have series that they have under their belts that's not foreign, right? Castlevania is not foreign. That's their shit. You know, they're able to produce all these shows. Don't tell me they're not making bread. They're not poor. They're not poor. They got bread. They hiding this shit. That shit is in a Swiss island somewhere. I know they got money. Don't tell me they don't got money. What are you, IRS?
No.
No.
Listen. Let's
see a
refine this. Let's refine this a little bit, because I am not saying that they don't have money. I am saying they're not making as much money as people think they are making. So
did you see the production of One Piece? Do you see how big the Going Merry is in Africa? Like, don't tell me that.
But that's part of them not making money.
No, you need to spend a lot to get that, and they're not getting the whole return.
No. First of all, nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for that. No. If you spending bread like that because you have it, I don't care what you're saying. You have it.
No, because they're desperate. Why One Piece? Why One Piece? One of the greatest selling manga of all time. Because
they're stupid.
Age where they know anime is on the rise.
Because they stupid. Come on now.
It's bold to take on, but it's a desperate move to get One Piece fans.
No, you out.
Let me land this ship. A lot of money going out. A lot of money going out on these productions.
Yes.
No advertising dollars coming in. Netflix doesn't have a Super Bowl where Coca-Cola, Pepsi, et cetera, are lined up for $1 billion placements, $1 million placements on their network. That extra money from that advertising has an impact on how well actors on and writers were able to be paid on traditional TV. And the fact that these streaming platforms are 9 times out of 10 only running off of subscriptions, what's going to happen is when they open up these books and they take a look and they say, okay, so you guys are only paying these people off of subscriptions. Why aren't you paying them off viewership? Well, because it's a this. Essentially, it's isolated. There's no way for them to pay for a stream based on no advertising dollars coming in. Now, they can change the model later, but if they change the model later, what's going to happen is you're going to see that there aren't a lot of people watching some of these shows
Unless they do it smart. Because hold on, D-Town, there is some hope for an alternate form of advertising revenue that is not just putting ads in it. And that's collaboration. So I don't know if you watched a lot on Amazon Prime, but some of their reality shows have done a brilliant thing. There's this fashion show called Making the Cut. And every episode, you know, they're designers, they design clothes, they sell clothes. And then right big at the bottom corner of the screen, Amazon Prime puts a QR code and says, hey, everything you saw, buy it right here on Amazon. They link the pages to their own sales. So they don't have random ads within the content, but can't they build ads into the show? Say, hey, Coca-Cola. Do you want to make a show? We don't care what's about, but we'll put it up on your platform.
Don't do that, Bree.
You pay us to put it up.
No.
It could be good because I love Making the Cut. They did it for a baking competition too.
I'm not saying it's not good. Don't give the motherfuckers no ideas.
I would rather that than crappy ads. I would rather shows that are an entire ad for Adidas about a young designer who's up and coming.
No. Entering the harsh world of fashion as well, just having them on the margins.
No,
God, no. Do not give me
not on the show, just in like the scrolling section.
No, because Netflix's interframe or operation system, whatever it's called, is gorgeous right now. It is the best out of any platform.
And guess what? Yo, pay an extra $20 and it'll go gorgeous again.
No, that's what I'm saying. Work with the companies that want advertising because there's no reason they can't have ads if they're smart about it. It's the same way you used to watch a movie. You can watch a movie now and everyone's carrying around an iPhone. Why? Because Apple is paying them to carry around an iPhone.
So, and you know what? Bree, you're 100% right. And that's a good call out. I completely forgot about that. That's how Coming to America 2 was made.
Just product placement.
A lot of product placement was how they even had the budget to put that movie together, because they filmed the movie and put the movie together first. Just product placement was a lot of it, right? Was a lot of the money that came in. Then they pitched it to Amazon, I believe, and Amazon picked it up. So I don't think that's far-fetched. I think that is a route for them to go.
All right. Advertise within an ad that you can't close or move out of because the entire thing is an ad. And if you write it well enough, people might not even notice how much they're craving a Coca-Cola.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can hear Patty's eyes.
I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this. You know why?
Patty, the amount of K-dramas you watch, you think you haven't noticed some of these product placements?
The Subway?
Samsung flip phones that they all have.
First of all, the flip phones is fire. The flip phones
are fire. They now?
They got you.
They fire.
And here's the thing. She owns an iPhone. She's already like, yo, flip phones are fire.
Already, that hang up hit different. That hang up hit different.
Right when they can close
it. Bitch. You feel it. It's different. It's different. No, but my thing is, no, on a serious note, I really do feel like these motherfuckers, this is why I feel like they really have money, and the reason they are losing money is bad fucking decisions. When you have that type of funding, when you have that type of money coming in, and it's on a consistent basis, it's not like, oh, you have to make quota. You are thriving through subscriptions, right? At one point, Netflix didn't have to do shit. All you get, if you sign on to your phone, you get notifications on a show that's similar to what you like. Not only that, it was once upon a time, it was a whole Popeyes craze. It was like that. Whenever a show dropped, motherfuckers was online talking about the fucking show. So no, I don't want to hear, oh yeah, they could do this. No, what they need to do is pay these writers, make sure the content is quality, stop spending money on the wow factor, because if a story is good enough, I'm coming for season 2. The Glory.
I was about to say The Glory.
The Glory. That shit was fire. Writing impeccable. Amazing. So if you put in more, if you concentrate more on the quality, people will fucking come. I'm not going to hear that, oh, maybe they need to put this. No, they have the money. They're spending it fucking poorly. And there's no reason for you. There's no excuse for you whatsoever to do so. If you listen to those 6 to 12 writers that are in the room and say, hey, do this, do this, do this. I think it will sell itself.
You mentioned this earlier. Everyone got a boss, and they got a boss. It's called their shareholders. and their shareholders are the ones making those decisions. So probably people have suggested what you suggested.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
right,
hey, let's make better shows. But my
pocket
tomorrow, though. So
no, if that's the case, then all of them need to be hit with white chairs, white folding chairs. I said it. I don't care.
Okay. We're kind of trying to get a little long. So to kind of wrap things up, I want to ask you guys what your impression is what is the possibility, say the strike fails, or even if the strike succeeds, of the future not necessarily just being these big streaming platforms, but these writers, these actors and such going independent and putting out independent projects? Is there any hope
let you
of
guys
that?
Go.
Especially with like online, we see all these content creators, all these TikTokers, these YouTubers, these whatevers, making relatively good names for themselves. It's hard. It's like 1 out of every 2-3 million of them. But if you make a website, put modest ads in the sides, and just film, create, and self-publish, but self-produce a show and put it online. Because we've seen, for example, a YouTube series have gotten some decent traction. But even YouTube can be a massive streaming platform. So even creating an independent site, is there hope for that in the future as a way to get away from this pain of 1 million subscriptions?
There's hope, but I could see it being a legal nightmare of people just copying each other's content and not really being able to prove anything. Because if it's just online, it's like, yeah, I wrote it first. Did you know? Like, it's terrifying. That's all.
I agree.
I would go ahead.
No. That's it. I agree.
I
totally agree. Shit show.
I think it's going to be incredibly difficult because the barrier to entry is significantly high when it comes to creating the type of content that is on these streaming platforms. Can we go independent? Yes. Can we perform independently? Yes. But you have to understand that putting together a film is vastly different from putting together an album.
You know ask Robert Townsend.
Yeah.
For real.
Shout outs to my uncle.
I mean, not all of us can be Tyler Perry. Shout out to him. I still haven't I have to do research. I still haven't found out what he feels about the whole writer's strike. But yeah, this is gonna be a shit show. It's not ending anytime soon. And I mean, it sucks for y'all because I got my own forms of entertainment, so it don't really matter. But it's just all jokes. But one way that you guys can support, if you want to see your shows come back on and you want to support the writers and make sure they get just decent pay. People don't understand. We're talking about decency. Yeah. Just like niggas didn't understand the civil rights movement. Do you understand civil? We were fighting for civil shit, like just civil, like
being able to order pie, like, and not get stoned to death.
Please, that'd be very nice. I don't want a milkshake thrown in my face. That's a glass cup, miss. That hurts. I just want basic shit. So if you guys want to help out, you can always donate, and also they are taking food. So if you have dry perishables, am I saying it right? Dry perishables?
Non-perishables.
Okay, non-perishables. They will take those as well. And the only thing that they are really asking for you to do is post it. Talk about it. Don't let people forget. So if you have a social media, if you're a content creator, always keep in mind that if you want to support, you can always say, I support the writer's strike, mention the strike, and also, if you can, put the link on the bottom where you can actually donate and help support the writers in this time, in this time of need. Because if writers are the nucleus of everything that goes on when it comes to any form of entertainment, and for them to just want basic shit, like for writers to say, I don't have money to just live, I can't pay rent. That's really a fucking. It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Can I share a story real quick? Because it sounds like we're ramping down or going to go on to a next topic and end real quick. And I want to say, because I have to save face, because I feel like at last like 20 minutes, people are like, this pro-corporate. So I have to save face and make it well known that I am not on the side of the corporations.
We know that. We know that.
In trying to get to the bottom of these things, I have realized how shitty these guys are being to them. Case in point about the strike, like Patty said, send them food, send them water, donate how you can. Also send them umbrellas too, because keep in mind, they're out in LA, right? And they're striking in LA. It is not cool in LA. It is very hot. One of the things that these studios did, because they're picketing outside of these studios, they seen the protesters were sitting up under the trees, right? You know, just to beat the heat. So not only did they block off like all entrances to the building so they could not strike on the sidewalks and obstruct the building, but they also cut the branches off of the trees as well, so they don't have any shade out there.
What the fuck is this, Selma? Like, so I don't get it.
So let's take it a step further, right? People are trying to be objective, like, oh, well, maybe the city did this. And it's like, no, it's the middle of the summer. City doesn't do this at that point in time.
It wouldn't make it look that terrible.
No.
So the city is like, hey, guys, guess what? We actually did not do this. So there's only one other entity that could have done this. I'm just saying, though. So,
not saying it wasn't us, but
yeah. But to Patty's credit, support them how you can. Donate food, water, send them hats, umbrellas, and shit like that. Because if they're doing shit like this, then they're going to need that as much shade as they can while they're out there. This is not going to be something that is resolved by the end of August. I don't think this is going to be something that's resolved by the end of September. I think in January, they may start to make headway.
Well, whatever show you was watching, if they came out with a season 2 this year, that's it. That's it.
I'm so sad because I don't, bro, man. Will Abbott Elementary survive this?
No.
Okay.
Why'd you have to make us scared now? Because I'm telling you, I think if it's not done by the end of October, it's not going to be done by November, just because or until January, because the November, December region, a lot of the entertainment stuff slows down. Like the things they already have, they want to push it out for the holiday season, but no one's really looking for work when that holiday season hits. So we just like, we were going to hire you in November anyway.
We just got Invincible.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I mean, that is crazy. Also the fact that it's the holiday season and the corporations might try to be extra fucked up just to say, hey, you'll just go through the, holiday season with no money.
Yeah. If they don't end it by the end of October, they won't end it until January.
Yo, the corporations, they sound like Mayor Adams. I'm not even going to This nigga went on television and said, why you need a window in your bedroom? It's a bedroom. Like, nigga. I can't have air. No. I can't see the sun.
No.
Again, so greedy. You need all that vitamin D every day, and now you want a window?
Right, exactly.
Really? Don't listen to your doctor.
Next day, this bitch gonna want a bathroom.
Fresh water with no lead.
What? You gonna take that extra lead?
That's the dude that was at them Jamaican parties, right?
He's in everything. He's a socialite. Like he's everywhere. But his job. And you want to know You don't know what's so funny? The nigga don't even live in New York.
That's crazy. He
lives in New Jersey.
Man. I remember when that nigga went live from the Black Ramen karaoke function, and I was like, "Yo,
wow!"
You can hear from our lawyers.
Wow! First of all, that would be funny. I'm not even gonna hold you. That would be fucking hilarious. But second of all, we here at Black Ramen, we do not support anything that Amir Adams has portrayed or had said. Period.
Nigga said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we outside." Oh shit!
Yo,
oh man,
this nigga for real. But yeah, this is a terrible crisis to be had because I want the writers to be paid. Like we go on here, we talk about we want mangakas to be paid. We want if you put out good content, you should be paid what you're worth. If you're putting out quality work, you should get paid. That is it. Oh, yeah. That is it. End of story. End of story. And I'm talking about paid what you're worth. I shouldn't be getting paid the same amount of money as somebody who's coming in that just got the job yesterday. That does not make sense. I need to get paid. If I have a list of credentials in my accolades, that's an insult for me to sit here and get paid with the same thing this nigga just got his diploma yesterday. You bugging. You're bugging. And
that's
you know
not even in the list of their demands.
That's not, but that should be. That should be. And then you want to know something? Healthcare too. Make sure my ass is well. Because if I'm sitting in these rooms with these nasty motherfuckers breathing their nasty air and getting COVID, let me be able to go get and see a doctor and get my prescription so I can come back to work the next day. Fuck you. Like, this shit is terrible. Like, I don't understand, like, basic shit, and these niggas are really fucking laughing, tweeting, we're just gonna wait until you motherfuckers are down to your drawers. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
I just really, really wish these streaming platforms would try this in a small town.
I have to why people reclaim that song.
I don't even know if we could come back from that. Like, I can't believe you just signed.
I think that's it. Roll the ending theme. Yeah. We're good.
Try to play our song over it, I guess.